it looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers. You know, there's just something about milestone tracks and milestone races in Formula One that make entirely too much sense. I think of Monaco, I think of Silverstone, and I think of Silverstone for FRL because it is milestone race number 100. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to race number 100 here of Foxxxes Racing League. This is a monumental race here. This is going to be a sprint race weekend. We're changing things up a lot here in FRL, but one thing that never changes is always going to be the excitement, the action, the fun. And if you know what I'm talking about, I just foreshadowed something. Stick around, we've got big announcements at the end of the stream, but while you're here, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and get you on track here. And this is where we're at as we jump on board with Jack spinning there. It's race 100, it's a wet Silverstone, it's the British Grand Prix here in FRL, but the things that don't change are my co-commentators, the people that make this more exciting than I ever could. Syntex, Kenny, welcome in for a good Sunday evening. Syntex, I'll start with you. How are you doing this evening?
Welcome everybody. Yeah, I'm pretty good and I'm so hyped right now because of the 100th race in the Foxxxes Racing League called FRL. And yeah, that quote that you have on the beginning with the milestones races. It reminds me when we have situation on Monaco when it was fully raining, and I can fully agree with that.
My first race ever with FRL was wet Monaco, and it's crazy to think that wasn't 100 races ago, but that was probably about 60 races ago here in FRL. League's only a few years old, of course, but hey, 100 races, lots of things have changed. But one of the things that hasn't changed is the fun here. However, new faces always do make their appearance, and Kenny, as the newest member of the commentary team, how are you doing this evening? Or I guess it's afternoon for you and me, but either way, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Fantastic. It's racing here virtually, and it's racing here later on today in Miami. So I will say this is one of my favorite tracks here in Silverstone, and especially in the wet. And of course, it has one of the most famous portions of any track, the storied end of Sector 2 here, the S complex here. I will say as a driver in the wet, turn 12 will bite you hard if you miss your apex.
Absolutely. A track that every driver should have in their repertoire as a virtual F1 driver. You should be able to put down a good lap here at Silverstone, and you should be very, very confident as things go. As we're watching here, we've got 20 drivers on track, and I feel like we should address the elephant in the room. It's a sprint race weekend. So what does that mean for us here at FRO? It means one 18-minute qualifying session. What happens after an 18-minute qualifying session? 25% race. That's your sprint. Sprint sets the grid for the main race, and then that's your 50% race. And that will be where we land out for the weekend. So, with that being said, guys, I like the change up of a sprint grid. It's one of 3 that we have coming through this season. Other ones is going to be, if I can double check my calendar here, because I don't remember off the top of my head. Our other sprint races coming up this season is going to be Montreal. That is round 9. And that is our only other sprint race we'll have this season. But hey, mixing things up just a bit, getting things a bit fun. And I like the changes that are coming and that have happened. So, Graxent starts us off with a provisional poll of 141.0. Syntax, you're the driver of the three of us. You know the time's the best. Is that 141 going to be a good representative time, or what sort of time are you expecting for a wet qualifying session?
I would guess maybe something around 1 minute 39, 1 minute 40 low, something like this, as Jack proved us all. And I believe Jack will definitely want to show us how racing should be looking like, especially when it's your home race. Last week we have some, of course, issues with the internet connection, etc. But I hope Graxent also know that feeling, because we were driving on a Zandvoort. But of course it wasn't the best race for the Graxent. I hope this week will be so much better. Of course, this is only the qualifications, but it's England, right? It's always raining, so I hope we will see some sunny, about like maybe in the main race, maybe in the 25%. I don't know, but I wouldn't definitely want to drive in conditions like this, especially when I was a driver.
Yeah, this isn't ideal for anyone, but the drivers seem to be managing everybody on wet tires at the moment. John Meister with a 140.595. So we're continuing to see times come down. We've got about 12 minutes left to go here. See a little bit of back end loss there from Tazo as we go through. And it's appropriate that we look at Tazo here at the moment, because as we look at the Constructors' Championship, Alpine currently leads with Tazo and Mateusz leading the two charges there. Tazo's P5 in our Drivers' Championship. Mateusz, his teammate, is of course leading with 1 win, and then it did not start as Jack, our reserve driver, took the pole position, or took the win last week, and was able to convert very well. But as he's a reserve driver, of course, he doesn't earn points. He doesn't help the team he runs for. He just represents them here on track week to week. And of course, if you want to jump in and become a reserve driver, go ahead and do !Discord in the chat. Join the Discord, and we'd love to have you out on track next week at... Wow, I am a horrible commentator. I can't even tell you where our next track is. Next run is Spa-Francorchamps next Sunday. Now, as we watch here, Tazo's in. We saw a spin there from Tazo. Only half the drivers have put in a time here, which I think is really interesting. We see Mateusz there, our championship leader after 2 rounds on the intermediate tires as he runs down through Maggots and Beckett's here, down into Chapel. Again, Silverstone, a track that you know by corner names. You don't know it by corner numbers. Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel, down the Hanger Straight here he runs as he'll run down towards Stowe. Of course, all of these famous corners: Cops, Maggots, Beckett's, Brooklands, Luffield, Wellington Straight, Aimtree Village, Farm Curve, Abbey, Hamilton Straight now, of course, for Sir Lewis Hamilton as he goes down the main straight there. And that is going to be, you know, again, Silverstone. It's a namesake track, guys. It's, you know this track, or you know this track. There is not a good F1 driver that does not know this track. Mateusz comes across 139.9, and you can see that was a McLaren, I believe, of Debe, staying well out of the way there. So Mateusz putting in a very, very competitive time so far. But again, half the grid has missed out on lap times. And Kenny, I'm curious, do you think they're waiting on dry weather, or what do you think they're kind of waiting on at the moment for putting in, you know, those times for that back half of the grid?
I think they're just trying to see if any type of dry line forms. You know, and especially with this game, you know, on screen, what we see doesn't necessarily mean track conditions too. So personally, as a driver, I have not been driving really any time the last few months. So as far as how this game plays out at grip levels, you know, I don't know. But yeah, as a driver, I'm kind of waiting for that dry line to form. And, you know, on some corners of the track, you're starting to see it. But on screen, you're seeing plenty of rain come down.
Yeah, it looks to me like the track is getting wet, staying wet, hasn't really changed much at the moment, but we're on board here, Radislav Kepa, as he runs through Maggots and Beckett's yet again, and then through the Chapel Curve here, and now it is the run down the famous Hanger Straight. We've seen plenty of overtakes, plenty of passes here in real life and virtual world come through that corner. Now it's the right-hander into Stowe, and then it's the run down into Vale and Club, to then take him back onto the Hamilton straight. Of course, the old pit straight can be confused for the main straight if you're not careful, but you shouldn't have that issue, at least out of Syntax or Kenny. I might mistake it once or twice, but hey, that's what you come here for. You come here for excitement and a little bit of fun. Now, let's watch here as the drivers. And Mackett's and Beckett's, I think, is going to be the most challenging section of this track for any driver. And really, if you're an FRL, F1 driver, Mackett's and Beckett's, you know it can be a big challenge. Onto the hanger straight there. Everyone just looks like pretty confident. Mateusz 139.9 at the moment. Seems like he has a 1/10 of a second up on Jack, which is very impressive to see. I'm waiting to see if more drivers come out. And we are continuing to wait on about 6 drivers to put on times. Some of the big mix-up is probably in the tires as some drivers are on wets. Everybody started to go towards intermediates at the moment, so we're starting to see those times kind of dwindle down as the transition from wets to intermediates happens. Syntax, as a driver, how do you know when it's time for those intermediate tires as opposed to wet tires?
Definitely, how do you feel on the track? It's the most common thing between the drivers, I would say. And also, it's all about the car feeling. Because you can slip on the wet compound, but you can also go with the intermediate compound and you can slip also. So it doesn't matter. Of course, wets are much slower than intermediate compounds. And as we can see, Mako, for example, changed for the wet compounds and he's currently on the P5. So I didn't check previously on which compound they make their own hot laps. But I believe if you are able to make it on the intermediate compound, I will hold with this because it will give you an information. Oh my god, what a time from Mateusz right now. It's over a second in front of the Jack. I'm so sorry, but this is... I actually have right now a goosebumps on my hands.
That's a scary time coming out of Mateusz, and that's on his 4th lap on those intermediate tires, so that's a good time. And now we see the hometown hero and the rival of the day, Jack, coming off of a victory last week. He now exits out. He is driving for Williams this week, and now he's going to exit out here. He is on an out lap, so we'll catch back up with him here in about a minute whenever he starts his push lap. We're looking at Baran right now in the Ferrari, who just came out of Chapel, going down Hanger Straight here, and he is looking to improve and put in a stronger time as he runs down towards Stowe, down into Vale, and he is going to be looking to improve as he runs all the way through the laps here. You can see the pit entry there on the right-hand side. If you don't take it, you're going to hit the chicane here in Club. And now as you come around, heading towards the Hamilton Straight, he's invalidated his lap time there. So Baran will not be able to improve at the moment, but I would guess that he is going to be pushing for another lap. I'm looking to see this lap tick off from Jack as Jack is going to be coming around, it looks like, down the Hanger Straight as well. You can see John Meister getting very, very loose there in his run down towards Village into the loop. And that kind of gets him loose. He's not enjoying his time there. Mateusz into the pits. And guys, there's 20 cars on track, 19 cars have put in a time. Kashti has not qualified at the moment, which is not surprising as I believe he has a quali bid, if I remember right. I know there were a lot of penalties given out after last week, so I'll have to check here. I know Vasserschlein.
I believe Kashti have some internet connection issues because he was in the lobby and he was on the track, but he just like get kicked by the game. So I'm not sure about this one, to be honest.
Very weird. Hopefully he can get that sorted out because that will be a problem for him if he doesn't get his time to register there for the sprint race. And now as we watch here, let's jump on board with Jack here. Let Jack take us through an on-board lap here as the rain is starting to lighten up in the British countryside. He is coming through the left-hander here he is going through Brooklands into Luffield, down the old pit straight here. We've seen many a famous overtake come through here. Need I remind you, through goes Hamilton and through goes Jack at the moment. Down the old pit straight here. If you're GT racing, that's the pit lane you use. And now you sling it right here. We've seen plenty of big moments here in Cops. and that is going to be, you know, the site of the big kerfuffle between Hamilton and Verstappen. Now Maggots of Beckett's let the car flow through and slowly braking, slowly decelerating, gearing down. Now use all the curb on the left-hand side here on the exit of Chapel, and now it's a rundown. Ignis with a good time, just 2/100ths of a second up on Mateusz, but just enough. Jack continuing to improve though, and we'll see if Jack is going to be able to put in a time that can knock those times down. Jack currently sitting P5 as we run down. He goes down through Vale. This is into the chicane of Club, and now he's going to come around the final corner here. Is he going to be able to improve as he hits the Hamilton straight? And he is going to absolutely floor it. Can Jack improve? 139.439. He does improve, but it's only good enough to get himself back up to P3. He does not find that provisional pole position. Guys, 3.5 minutes left to go. Lots of drivers out on track. Lots of action happening. I see yellow flags all the way around. McLaren playing a little bit of team games there as they run down the Wellington Straight. And I think we might be to a point where things are starting to look fairly square and fairly in place.
Both of Mercedes looks very strong, especially that they've got a really unfortunate previous races. So both of them are looking really good, but we have to remember that these qualifications are for the sprint race, right? So this is still not qualifications for the main race. So it's not that important as a main event, I would say, of course. What do you think, Kenny? Will be Graxent able to maybe somehow improve his time? He still have 2.5 seconds. Right now, we know that he's sitting on the second place in the general standings, but it isn't good promising for now with the P9.
I definitely think he can absolutely improve. He's got a little bit of time, but he can't really afford any mistakes or errors. But he definitely has the pace in the tank, so to speak, to at least join the 139 club. But I think the bigger story here, just looking over the standings real quick, you've got some big names having, you know, some really big DNFs. In these first two races, you've got Graxent with the DNF, you got Taza with the big DNF, and then you got Keshi too with the big DNF. So, and we're only this is only the third race in. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here coming up at the finish here. But yeah, I think Graxent's going to move up a little bit.
A minute 45 seconds left to go here in this qualifying session. That is going to be our first retirement out. That is Jack. He is retired in the pit lane. They are going to push that Williams car in the garage. He has decided that where he is at is where he is going to stay. And we mentioned, again, this just sets the grid for the sprint race, and the sprint race is what sets the grid for the main race. So some of these drivers may be looking not to put all their eggs in one basket, looking to kind of stick back a little bit and allow their times to settle in, and they're going to try to make up some time on the race. There's Mateusz running wide there, and that is going to be out of cops. So that compromises his time. Mateusz, I don't think we'll have time to get around and start another lap. That is going to be our current provisional pole sitter, Ignas, in the wall. That is at the exit of Beckett's and Chapel. That he is into the wall now on the Hangar Straight. That's a very, very weird place to see a off track, but you can lose grip there very easily. And now John Meister, as we see, is starting another push lap on those intermediates. Fourth lap out for him as he comes down through Abbey and now around the left-hander there of the loop. We'll catch up with him. 30 seconds left to go, so this will be his final lap. Mateusz is currently starting on a final push lap, so we'll see if Mateusz is able to compete against Ignis's time there. 2/100ths of a second separate those two. Ignis into the pit lane, so that is going to be his qualifying over with 20 seconds left to go. John Meister currently coming around the middle sector. Checkered flag is 15 seconds from falling, so if anyone's going to find some extra time, they need to do it now. Cashy's time is now registered. Cashy currently sitting P5, 1:39.610, and now as we watch here, 3 seconds to go. Maku was just able to get over the line and get things started. Tazo retiring out of the session in the pit lane, so Tazo has called it. Jack is in place. Frantic and Ignis and Bimaluna Gaucho's times are all locked in now, and now it is just a matter of who is going to be able to improve as we run through. They've got 2.5 minutes to get a time on the board. We're seeing Wasserschwein crossing the line, not improving any on his side. Now we've got Mumamek who crosses the line, goes up to P19. That was another driver improving. That was Radislav Kepa improving up into P8. Now he's down into P9 as Baran sets a time there, good enough for P4. And now we're going to watch as John Meister brings his way around Club down towards the Hamilton Straight. He is going to be full throttle. See a little bit wobbly on exit there, but John Meister crosses the line, does not improve, holds on to P3 at the moment, and behind him is going to be a Ferrari of Graxent. Graxent does not improve. Graxent is going to be locked in at P8, and now we watch as drivers continue to make their way around. For the final times here, you've got Kashti. His teammate Buciek is just a little bit in front here. Buciek comes across the line. Buciek good enough for P5. Mateusz is now going to be our next driver across the line. Mateusz is able to pull it out by over half a second and sets himself up with a 138.484. Can the McLarens upset him across the line for the final time here? Debe is going to cross the line. Good enough for P4. Very impressive time from Debe there. Pulled out at the very end. Maverick goes across as well. Does not improve anytime. And now our last driver to cross the line is going to be Maku. Can Maku bring anything to the table here? It seems like a very strong time. Maku upsets Debe there for the second row of the grid there, and is going to be in P4. Pushes Debe to the third row in P5, and that sets up our sprint race grid. We still have to apply penalties, but as it sits, Mateusz pulling out half a second on the final go. When the back is against the wall, Mateusz is able to pull a lot of time there. And Kenny, that was a last-second miracle from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Full beans in, and what a rocket ship there towards the end. And I'm curious to see how both Mateusz and Ignas get together. But also, just looking at some of those times, guys, we might be in for a good sprint weekend here.
Of course, Syntech sprint race coming up. It's not something that I know you personally experienced in FRL, but I have to ask, what's the strategy if you're going to do a sprint race?
I was sprinting actually on the Monza when I was teammate with the Tazo.
Oh, yes, you did do that. So what's a good strategy for a sprint race?
From my experience, not to crash yourself, but to be honest, it depends on the weather, of course. I will go with soft to mediums just to get a really good pace at the beginning.
So, what you saw in qualifying is what we get. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the first of 2 times today, and it's 5 red lights, and we are going to be underway here for the sprint race here in FRL. And now as we get underway here, you can see back in the background, lots of drivers jockeying for position. Mateusz has Ignas right side by side there, and that's already a spin. That is going to be John Meister spinning out. It's chaos in the start. Look at that. 4, 5, 6 cars dropping back there. That's Wasserschwein up the inside of Marios there, trying to get a pass done. He goes to the outside. That is going to bring him underway. He goes back through. Big drivers already losing lots of places, though, early on after a turn 1 kerfuffle. Of course, nobody pulling a Zhou Guan Yu going into a fence, but hey, that is the thankful thing for the virtual world. Debe in P5 here, putting pressure on Kashti in P4. Trying to get a pass done. He gets a little bit of a wobble there. That's going to open up Marios. Wasserschwein showing some amazing pace here in the sprint race. 9 laps of very, very fast action about to come at you. And as we watch here, up the inside goes Marios on Debe. And there we go. Wasserschwein getting through as well, trying to push him out of the way. And now, as we have the run for the first time, down through Maggots and Beckett's here, and the drivers are going to slot in single file, try to hold on to it. I don't think we'll see any passes here through Maggots and Beckett's, but hey, I've been wrong on that before now, and as we settle through, there we go, a pass up the inside, Graxent on Frantic early on, and there's some contact there, and they both survive it as we run down the Hanger Straight, down into Stowe here, and Graxent is going to settle in for P8, P9 for Frantic, and guys, we're 1 lap of 9 in, and there were some big losers there. Maku, John Meister, Buciek, and Baran all losing out desperately from that.
Yeah, what a start from Wasserschwein. So up 11 places on the back of Maros there. But yeah, we'll see if we can have a clean race here. But what a start. What a start.
I hope guys from the bottom will somehow managed to come by, but I can see there's a huge fight between Bemolino, Buciek and Baran. We've seen some debris on the track actually, and I believe there will be many reports because of the sprint race and because of the main race. So, as we always say, Bradley, that stewards have a lot to do after the race. Today, I think they will not watch the Miami Grand Prix.
Stewards are gonna have a fun time, and of course, hey, the action here is probably better than the real life action in Miami because it is raining in Miami from what I understand. Battle here for P11 at the moment. Tazo on Kushor. Tazo up ahead there, and you can see the big difference here. Looking at tires, every driver is on the medium tires, so not too much to worry about there. Nobody has penalties at the moment. It is just a straight 9-lap shootout as we go. John Meister, Mumamek up the inside goes John Meister here. Mumamek to the outside as we run down the hanger straight down towards Stowe, and John Meister has to yield there to Mumamek. No, he doesn't. He's going to stick it there to the inside. Inside turns to the outside. You see ahead of him the battle between Maku and Maverick, and this is the battle for P16 and P14 respectively. DRS now enabled. Of course, now remember this is a sprint race, so the top 8 drivers are going to earn points here as it is in real life. So top 8 drivers will get a little bit of extra points in their championship contention. And as it sits right now, Mateusz currently sitting half a second ahead of Ignas in P2, slotting in Ignas purple first sector, and drivers are just kind of trying to settle in here. Lap 3 of 9. Lots of places to give. Puhash on Tazo on Debe there. Debe has lost a lot of position since the start. Debe's down into P11, having an abysmal sprint race so far, losing lots of positions after starting in P5, and he's down to P11 now, outside of the points, outside of the chances for some extra points there. And that is the problem with a sprint race sometimes, is if you have a bad sprint race, it can set you up horribly for the real race.
That it can. What a battle that we're seeing though unfold against these got P6 down to P10 there. Still a massive train forming there in the midfield.
Exactly, coming back to the race, let's check what's happening between Graxent, Wasserstein and Myros, because they are fighting for the P5 Kashti with the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 29.5. So really amazing pace from Kashti, as he's always proving that from race to race. Wasserstein with 3-second time penalty because of the multiple warnings, so it wouldn't help at all on the end of the race, but still they've got time. That still they have 5 laps to go in this sprint race. Right now Wasser is half of the second behind the Myros, but possibly there's a chance to attack when we're coming to the cops. I hope we wouldn't see a scene as we have on the actual Silverstone Grand Prix between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Myros is much more in front the Wasserstein, so I guess it wouldn't be situation like this. But now with the Maggots and Baggots, what do you think, Kenny, might happen? Wasserstein need to push because he have 3 seconds time of penalty, but trust me, this track might be very tricky on some turns. Definitely on the Maggots and Backends you have to be patient, you have to be very gentle on the throttle, same as the cops. In this game you cannot go with the full throttle, and it might happen anything, as we've seen in the qualifications. Some spins, even on the dry conditions, it might be difficult.
Yeah, we see Wasserstein finally get through there. With the limited number of laps though, and with that penalty, unless he gets some help from some penalties in the cars ahead, I think this is just going to be a situation where he's just going to have to take his medicine, so to speak, and just kind of deal with it. He's out ahead in front of this little 3-car scrum with Maros and Graxent, but that penalty is going to cost him really big in this sprint race. It's going to hurt.
Penalty, nevertheless. Marios with a good dose of DRS there as they run down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands into Luffield. Marios had the pass for a second, loses it. Wasserschwein back ahead, and now he's under pressure from Graxent. And here we go. Graxent going around the old pit straight here, around the outside through Cops. And now Marios runs very wide, and I would guess that is where all of the drivers are getting their penalties, is on that exit of Cops, running towards Maggots and Beckett's. And now as we weave through Maggots and Beckett's for the 5th out of 9 times now, we're watching this battle between the P5, 6, 7, and you can even say P8, 9, 10, 11. They're all very, very close together. And look at that. There is a dive from Puhash on Frantic. Puhash able to get the position there as they hit Stowe, and that puts Puhash almost ahead. He had it, he lost it, and now can he hold on to it here as we go through Club? He can, and now we come out onto the Hamilton Straight. Puhash ahead of Frantic here, and there we go, boys and girls. Bob's your uncle. Puhash is in P8, and now he can set out 1.3 seconds he needs to make up on Marios. He might be able to make that time up, he might not. And let's add to the bad and worse for Debe, a 3-second time penalty. He's lost 7 positions this race. And guys, I think that's one of the big stories that we're going to bring out of this sprint race is Wasserschwein up 12 places up into P5. He's 6.5 seconds back on Kashti, but hey, he is in a very good position so far and a strong showing. But then you have drivers like Maku Debe down 7 places, John Meister down 10, Buciek has lost 9, and Baran losing 12 places throughout this race. Baran, of course, having to take a pit stop for wing damage, and now that puts problems all the way around for him and problems all the way around for Wasserschwein as Wasserschwein and Graxent go side by side there out through Cops, heading towards Maggots and Beckett's. Wasserschwein backing out of it very wisely there. Great racecraft being shown by the AlphaTauri driver, but that now puts Wasserschwein in P6. Nevertheless, that's an amazing showing coming from Wasserschwein, and Graxent now 7.2 seconds he needs to make up. Look at this with the help of DRS up the inside. Wasserschwein goes as they head towards Stowe. Can he hold on to that P5 now against Graxent? It's going to be a battle for 3 laps. 3 laps to go now when they hit the line coming out of Club. And is he going to hold on to it here for just a moment? Graxent had the nose ahead, and then Wasserschwein able to go back into place. Jump back here on this battle for P3, though. Kashti on Jack. Jack dropping down to P4. Kashti up into P3. Mateusz and Ignas have kind of settled in P1, P2 there. Nobody really passing each other, and that is just setting down. Kashti, Jack battling this battle. P1, 2, 3, 4 is a great battle, and then P5 basically back to P12 is a strong competitive battle as well. Maku on Debe with Frantic dropping back there. Frantic having a spin going through Village, and that is going to set him back pretty significantly. He drops back to P13. He might even lose out into P14, depending on what happens. But let's not take our eyes off of the front. There is a big drop, though, from Wasserschwein. Wasserschwein is now spun going through Luffield, which is a really unusual place for him to spin. But spins out of left field. Now Wasserschwein, all of that momentum he had, dropping back to P12, and now add insult to injury side by side with Frantic as they go through Cops. Wasserschwein backs out of it very wisely, able to get a little bit better of an exit though, and able to go up and hold on to P12. Wasserschwein, who was up P4, P5, P6, and now Wasserschwein overheating those tires from the last spin, spins again, and Wasserschwein, all of the momentum he had is lost. I will not be claiming commentator curse on that. However, say what you want.
How dare you?
Well, it's not my fault. I will blame
As-
Syntax.
Nah, as always, I'm the worst. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it is what it is, and I get we just need to get used to it. That always when we're saying someone's name, something's happening with this driver. So it just happens. We had to have that. I would say 6 stands that we know that something's happening, and we are just showing to you that, guys, just to prove that FRL give you the best emotions as they can. Of course, right now, 8th lap fighting between Ignas, Mateusz, Kashti and Jack is just unbelievable. All of them are running away from Graxent, and their pace is just amazing. They're out of the rest totally. And basically, all of them are just holding in less than 1 second by the whole race. So this is a big achievement, really. And right now we can see maybe Jack will be trying to attack Kashti, going to the turn. Yeah, he's going inside. Kashti wouldn't let that go and still pushing. They both going wheel to wheel. Just let check this situation. The last corner in front of the Hamilton main straight will be extremely difficult. You can lose grip there so easily, but somehow Kashti managed to hold his P3.
So, drivers settling in here. Kashti holding on to P3. Final lap, white flag has waved, and now it is a matter of what happens. Kashti's lost out a bit of time there, and Jack now in P4. Mateusz P2, Ignas P1 here. Tazo still battling as well, though, with Graxent for that P5, so nothing settled until they cross the line now as we go through for the final time of this sprint race through Village and the Loop. As we see here, Kashti continuing to hold off Jack by about 0.4 of a second. But of course, DRS, as they go down the Wellington Straight, may prove to give a bit of run here. And now, as we run around, they come out of Luffield down towards Woodcote. The old pit straight, Cops, all of the famous corners. And of course, guys, this is just the sprint race. We still have the race to go after this. And now we watch the drivers run down Maggots and Beckett's for the final time. I see John Meister pummeling down the order. I believe he's had a spin coming out of Luffield. He has. Very unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. He was doing so well, and that is going to prove problematic when the race hits. Now, continue to watch this battle, though, as we run down the Hangar Straight here. And now we hit the turn of Stowe for the final time here in this sprint session. Of course, 100 races of FRL, and this is going to be the exciting sprint to set up the 100th race of our season. Ignis comes around through Club for the final time. Ignis crosses the line, brings us across. Mateusz, Kashti, Jack not able to catch up. Now, Graxent 9 seconds back on Jack here, and he is running around for the final time through Club. Where is it? Oh, he spins on the line, but he's able to hold on there. Tazo P6, Puhash P7, Marios P8, and with penalties, Maku will come up to P8, Marios 9, Frantic, Debe, Maverick, Kushor, John Meister, who was running really competitive, Bimolino Gaucho, Radislav Kepa will come across the line. 6 seconds of penalties there. Then we just need to wait on Mumimek, Buciek, Wasserschwein, and Baran to cross the line. Of course, top 8 earning points, so that is going to give Ignis, Mateusz, Kashti, Jack, Graxent, Tazo, Puhash, and Maku a bit of good fortune for some extra point totals. And of course, Mateusz, his big battle right now as he is currently leading the Drivers' Championship against Graxent. So Graxent needing to convert a bit here in the main event, and we will see Mateusz trying to push. He's going to be starting front row of the grid here for the race, so he's going to be pushing and trying to hold on to things. Guys, Syntex, Kenny, what do you think about that sprint race?
It was a good one.
Please. Kenny, please
Right.
start.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, driver of the day is your in-game driver of the day, at least, is Tazo. But I will say, big improvement or some notable drivers to watch. Jack finishing in P4, Kashti finishing in P3. But congrats to Ignis though for getting that P1.
Yeah, that was amazing that he was able to hold that P1 in front of the Mateusz. Both of them are proving that they will get an amazing, unbelievable pace in the main race. But Kashti and Jack wouldn't be just stay behind and watch. I will definitely want to see that fight in the main event.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back to get ready for the main event here. And as we set up here and get ready and we think about that this is the 100th race here in FRL milestone number 100. I've hit this a couple of times now, but hey, I like to remember that it is the 100th race, and as we're 30 seconds out, Kenny, Syntex, we'll start with you. What is your expectations of this cloudy British race?
Big crashes, I believe, some flying wheels around the track, and big disaster. No, I'm kidding, because this is the every single race in No, I'm kidding. Especially from the 100 race, I would say a big event.
Big event indeed, as we are 5 red lights and we are going to be underway here for the race start. 26 laps of Silverstone coming at you very quickly here. Lots of action. That is Wasserschwein spinning right off the jump. Big spin there. Oh, that's a Red Bull directly into the wall there. That was Kashti, and Kashti just completely dropping back. That was... Wow, that was something. 3 wide now as we see Maku Puhash Tazo and Maku against Puhash there. And Kashti picking up a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I don't know what happened to him off the start. He just didn't turn. And now another driver spinning in the background. And Syntax, your prediction is coming to fruition here. Kenny, I don't know if you had the same prediction or not, but it seems like Syntax had a good idea of what was happening here. Debe already battling his way back forward a little bit here. Of course, he started back in P12. Now he's up into P8. And now as we continue to go here, side by side, we see Tazo on Frantic. And is that going to develop into anything? As they run through Tazo against Puhash, actually Tazo, big snap of oversteer there and has to slot back in. Now he's going to be under pressure by Frantic, but Tazo into P6. And Kenny, we're halfway through the first lap, and we already saw someone just completely not turn. We've seen drivers spin, and now we've got a McLaren of Kushor that is off in Maggots and Beckett's. Kenny, what do you make of this first half of a lap so far?
Kenny. We lost Kenny, so...
Seems like we lost Kenny here. So, Syntax, I'll ask you the same question. We're a lap through now, and we've had a bunch of drivers go off track. We've had a bunch of crazy things happen. Kashti is just completely forgetting how to turn, it looks like. How do you feel?
It looks like disaster. Like, I have no idea, but there's definitely something wrong with the tires. You've seen Graxent, you've seen Kushor, you've seen Kashti on the track. I have no idea what's happened with the Kashti. I believe Kashti just decided to retire. There is something wrong with Kashti in this season, and this is definitely not his season at all. It's so sad that we need to see Kashti on the P12 after the second lap retiring. But even though every single driver was sleeping on the compounds, like I don't remember, maybe they were on mediums, I guess. Nevertheless, there was a disaster in the beginning, right, Bradley?
Yeah, turn 1, lap 1 was pure carnage, and I really don't understand what happened or why it happened, but it did. Looking at the big winners and losers, like Buciek has made 11 places up, but Mateusz has lost 11 places. Graxent's lost 10. Kashti, of course, picking up a DNF now. Wasserschwein's made up a couple places. Baron's made up several places. So, I mean, lots of different things happening here, and drivers all with different strategies, medium and hard tires. I don't really know how to feel about it so far. Kenny, are you back with us?
Yeah, apologies about that. I had a technical issue on my end, but yeah, what a classic Silverstone start that we had at the opening stage there. But from Kashti, I wonder if we had some type of equipment issue or equipment failure. You know, sometimes these guys rock these you know, load cell braking systems, and what a battle between Mumenbeck and John Meister, by the way. But yeah, I wonder if he just had a issue with his equipment.
Yeah, it was a really weird thing to see there. And now as we watch here, Baron dropping back several places, spinning out in... Where the heck is he on the track? I can't even tell just from looking. Oh, yeah, my brain isn't working. There we go. He's going down the Wellington Straight. And he spins out, drops all the way back down into P16. Debe down into up into P14, my apologies. Maverick Wasserschwein having some snaps of oversteer there. So the battle in the back part of the grid is very, very competitive at the moment as well. As we watch and we see things continuing to develop on. Jack, half a second back on Ignas here, and this, I think, is going to be our big battle of the fight here, especially since Mateusz has dropped down so far. Tazo on Marios, that's a big battle here, as Tazo is able to get himself up into P4, and now he can set off chasing down Maku, who's 2 seconds up the road. But that battle for the lead, I think we're going to have to keep our eyes on, and same with this battle for P4. I think it's going to be very back and forth the entire time of these 26 laps, and of course, we're starting lap 4 now of 26, so already 22 laps to go. Plenty of actions happened. Kind of just keep our eyes on those highlighted moments and let things continue to go through.
Yeah, just check how Mako and Tazo are doing so well right now. Currently P3, P4, but after that disaster that we had on the lap 1, this race, even that we have like 4 laps behind us, situation on the track looks really, really, I would say, clear right now. No one is overtaking. Everyone is going like so, maybe not slowly, but you know what I mean. Like not making any extra moves that they don't need to. Trying not to get any penalties because this one will be really important. And even though I cannot see a proper fight incoming, to be honest, because every single one driver right now on the track is in some kind of gap, but it's not that close just to try to perform an attack. But Ignas and Jack again show us an amazing pace. After 4 laps, they already have 4 seconds time gap between Jack and Marcus, so this is impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. A heck of a start from both those top 2 drivers, both Jack and Ignis going at it. And I think on the comment of Jack's form over the last few weeks, ever since the preseason barrages even, he's been just a rocket ship in terms of improving. And then also, kind of like you said, Syntax, everyone's kind of maybe playing the tactical game here, as we're seeing some shuffling in the field. But, I think the real errors here, or not the real errors, but the real strategy and the real change is going to come at the end of this first stint, as we see Tire Dead come into play and all this and that. Who was that went off? Was that Baran that went off, Syntax?
Yeah, it was Baran, exactly. And to be honest, I have no idea what is happening with the drivers in this race. It reminds me like the real one, Formula 1 drivers looks like they forgot how to drive the car.
Handling their inner Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, it's been weird, but I guess the good thing is you could say that nobody's using grip hacks because they're all driving like they're on ice for some reason, which has been weird to watch. This battle between Ignis and Jack is continuing to heat up here. Kind of looking back at the action, Maku 4 seconds back on Jack, Tazo 2.5 seconds back on Maku, Mario's 1.2 seconds back. So the top 5 very spread out. And then we kind of see a little bit of a battle there between Marios and Puhash starting to develop. But really the big battle is like midfield, mid-grid issue, which has been really interesting. But it seems like everyone is kind of settling in. And as I'm starting to say that, Mateusz, our points leader, with a big spin there coming out of the final straight. You can see his car in the barrier there, missing a wheel. And that is going to get us a safety car.
Dun, dun, dun.
That changes everything, as it always does. Now, who opts to pit now? Who opts to stay out? How do we mix this race up, guys?
I believe the hard compound drivers will definitely stay on it. To be honest, it's so early in the. It's like the beginning of the race. Not gonna lie, just six laps behind us, and I will think just to stay on the medium compounds, even if they are on the track. But it's 20 laps to go. Hard will definitely be able to make these 20 laps. So maybe a really good decision will be, as Ignas doing right now, just went for the pit just to make the hard compound and drive it until the end. Of course, if there wouldn't be any problems, an issue called safety cars.
Yeah, you're gonna see. We're seeing a few shuffling, but yeah, your hard, definitely, like you said, your hard compound. They're stuck out there. I mean, it'd be kind of silly to ditch those tires this early. But looks like Kushor is on another fresh set of softs, so he's doubling down on the soft campaign. But yeah, I think personally, my prediction, I think this is not going to be our one and only safety car. I think we're going to see another safety car before race end. Brad, what do you think?
I have a feeling we'll see the safety car. I'm going to say one more time, at least here in this race, as we continue to just kind of watch the drivers pace around here. And it's going to take a little bit of time for the grid to mix up and kind of group back in as we watch here. I don't know. I want to say drivers are going to do good, but now we have drivers pitting. They're going to go on fresh tires. Those tires are going to be cold, and then it's going to be cold through turn 1. And it's, it kind of, it mixes things up depending on where we're at. But
just FRL things, right?
yeah, hashtag just FRL things. So, as we watch here, we're lap 7 of 26. We're a little over a quarter of the way through this race already. This race is moving really fast, which is kind of nice to say. Silverstone, usually not a place we see a lot of safety cars, but it'll make an appearance at least once or twice. Jack currently sitting in the lead with Maku in P2, Mario's P3, Puhash P4, and then from there, Frantic, Bimolino, Ignas, Wasserschwein, Tazo, Maverick, rounding out our top 10 here. All of the drivers kind of setting up, back half of the grid pitting, front half of the grid opting to stay out, and I think the big one to watch is going to be Tazo, currently sitting P9 on those fresh, hard tires here, as we get at least one more lap under safety car.
I will agree with that, and still we have Graxent and Baran at the end of the grid, and we know that Graxent promised us this season will be so much better comparing to the previous one, as he showed he can do better. I believe that, and I want to see Graxent fighting for the top 10 again. It is possible, especially that we have I don't know how many, 6, 7, 8 drivers on the grid right now with the old tires. So yeah, every single driver have now chance and opportunity to fight for the podium. That's what I love it. But of course, as I'm always saying, it's like strategy juggling. You cannot predict the strategy because one safety car can change everything, as we have right now.
Very hard to predict where this is going to go. Syntax always says it best. Anything can happen here in FRL. And now, as we watch here, we're coming around down through the backstretch. And as we will go down towards Cops and Maggots and Beckett's, we'll see if the safety car is called in this lap and where that will take us, how things will go. The field is still spread out, so I would say at least one more lap under safety car probably to try to bunch the field up. But we've seen the FIA do crazier things as well, so I'm not one to predict.
Who do you think is in the best position right now? I would say Ignas and Tazo. But, of course, Ignas still have 5 or 6 drivers in front of him just to overtake. I'm not saying that it will be extremely difficult, but it will be definitely difficult to come back on the podium. Nevertheless, as you mentioned, anything could happen, and still a long way to go until they finish this race. So yeah, I believe Ignas and Tazo, for me, right now, are in the best spot as they possibly can. What do you think, Kenny?
Yeah, I would agree. You just got to get through the traffic a little bit, carefully. We hope the restart is a clean restart, but we do have some strong drivers still up in the front positions there. Jack, Maku, and Maro still rather fast this weekend here on this track, but no, definitely, I think your Ignas is in a great spot, and then probably your biggest gain on the subject would be Tazo.
Yeah. Oh. Unless you will gain a 5-second penalty.
Good God.
I mean, that's a way to do that as well. I don't see any front end damage, which is good, but I don't know where that penalty was.
Oh, that hurts.
I'm not sure how about your game, but I had some lag and bugs because, for example, when the carnage on the lap 1, Buciek on my screen was first, and some guys on the P7, P8 have like more than 1 minute time gap between P8 and P7. Right now everything works fine, but I'm not sure about desyncs, you know, so it of course always depend on the game condition, and it's of course questionable right now how it looks like.
That is true. We've seen bugs and desync be an issue before. Hopefully nothing too crazy happening here. But again, it's FRL. Anything can happen. The grid's bunched back up, so I would expect the safety car to be called in here at the end of this lap. We'll wait for the call as we go through Maggots and Beckett's here. This is typically where you're going to get your call. And look at that, right on time. Safety car in this lap, and that is going to put us starting lap 10 of 26. That'll put 16 laps to go. Big mixes up between tires and positions and where everyone is, so it's very hard to see who is going to be where. As we go through and the drivers come around Stowe, the safety car peels away into the pit lane, and that gives Jack control of the field here against Maku, and we'll see when Jack decides to go and how things happen for the final 16 laps of this 100th race.
What is really interesting that only Ignas and Tazo have time penalties.
That's a very rare sight here in FRL, honestly. Seeing so few drivers with time penalties, that's very, very rare to see. And did someone already spin off the restart?
Maverick.
Oh, Maverick spinning, losing his front wing off of the race restart. He'll have to go around a lap without a wing and then pit in. And he is going to lose significant time here as we go through starting lap 10 of 26. And now as we watch here, Maku and Jack staying fairly close together. There's another driver that spun, and that is going to be Tazo, who has dropped back pretty significantly as we have the run through Village and the loop. And now they run down the Wellington straight here, and Tazo losing another position. So Tazo dropping all the way back to P16, and now Wasserschwein has spun in Brooklands and Luffield, and that is going to drop Wasserschwein back quite a bit as well, as he still can't seem to get his car going straight. But Jack taking off 0.8 of a second, guys, and kind of cementing himself up in the lead here. Reserve driver, of course, here in the league, so he's not going to earn points for his team. He's not going to earn points for a championship, but he's putting on a good show.
Definitely agree there. Definitely trying to earn a full-time seat whenever he can get one. But he's almost going to pull out a second gap if he can. But Maku is going to do everything he can to hold on to the back of that rear wing of his car. But yeah, when we see 3 spins in quick succession, this track just claiming lives.
It was all about what Bradley previously said about the cold tires, and the drivers will definitely be spinning, and it's just pure agreement that this is exactly what he said, and it's fully understandable because it's so hard to get really warm tires in the conditions under the safety car. Maverick with the 5-second time penalty because of the speeding into the pit lane. Coming back to the topic, it's difficult. What is more, especially hard compound is really hard to warm them. If you have like 60, maybe 62%, it is okay, but going with the higher temperature is extremely difficult, and you will need to, I don't know, drifting on these tires just to warm them up to normal temperature.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Quick exchange between Ignas Barnes and Bemolino Gacho. Ignas, though, does have a penalty at the moment. But I wonder when we're going to see Brad. When do you think we'll see Jack come in off of those mediums? Do you think we'll see him come in here in the near future?
I would say if he's going to pit, it's going to be probably within the next 3 to 4 laps, I would expect. As we see Bemolino Gacho getting passed by John Meister here on screen. John Meister trying to put in a bit of a switchback there, and there we go. Mercedes setting up P6, P7. Good showing at the moment. John Meister fastest lap. Yeah, I would say if Jack's going to pit, it's going to be within the next couple of laps if he's not just kind of fingers crossed holding out for a safety car, which is what I would be expecting him to do at the moment.
Right now is a fight between Debe and Baran, and for me it looks like they are going in slow motion. They are not pushing themselves, but it's reasonable because of the tires, and I fully understand that. I have a strange feeling that it's something wrong with the, I have no idea, maybe setups, maybe tire pressure. You know what I mean? We remember when we have like 3 barrages and Debe was spinning every single time on the last corner on Abu Dhabi. Yeah, maybe there's something bigger with the pressure on this track. To be honest, long time that I wasn't driving behind the wheel on a specific car, but it's extremely difficult just to predict what could be possibly wrong. It might be setup, it might be temperature, it might be pressure. There's so many things that might possibly go wrong. But right now Baran just overtake Debe and he's jumping into the pit 13. In front of him is Radosław Kepa. Mako decided to go to the pit lane and he will be changing from 12 hard for mediums. Yeah, exactly. So 13 laps on the medium compound, it's doable. But is it worth? I have no idea. If I will be on his place, I will try to go maybe 7 more laps on these hards and then maybe we'll jump into the softs. Not sure. Maybe this Puchacz or Jack will show us how to pick the softs. I want to see someone on the softs really, because I truly believe that only the softs might show you the true pace of the driver.
Absolutely, I would agree. We had a little bit of an off from Frantic in the Williams there. He quickly got it back out on track, but he has lost out quite a few positions. I will also agree, Syntex, about what you said. About all the challenges these drivers and teams are facing this weekend here at Silverstone. This is a very flowing track, and it's a very fast track as well. The average top speed of this track is very high, if you get that, if you're lacking the confidence or not having the flow, your lap times are gonna suffer, and because of that, every driver, of course, is in the pursuit of the quote-unquote perfect lap. But that's easier said than done, as we're going to see Maros dive into the pits here for fresh tires. Maros into the pits. But yeah, no, this is a very difficult track if you're not big on practicing.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks that, like I said in the start, every driver should be able to put down a Silverstone lap with no issues and be comfortable on this track to a degree. You don't need to be the fastest, but you need to be comfortable and you need to understand the track very well. And I would say that we're really seeing all of the drivers showing that urge to put down the fastest lap, kind of overtake the survival instinct of surviving 26 laps. So we've seen a couple drivers have some big moments, but overall, it's been fairly clean racing. Nothing too chaotic coming through for all of the drivers, and that's really set themselves up well. The biggest thing I'm wondering now is just in terms of pit strategy, which I know we've kind of harped on and talked about already, but it's really a question of, when are Jack and Puchacz going to come off of those tires they're on? Of course, Jack has pulled out a 5-second gap, so he's in no hurry to come off those medium tires from what I can tell. But, how is that pit strategy going to mix things up, and where are we going to see things go as Mubamek has retired out of the session? So we're down to 17 runners of the 20 that started here. And things have kind of settled down here for the middle part of the race. 11 laps to go now, this time by.
Also, many drivers just earn some penalties. For example, Ignas have 5 seconds, John Meister 3 seconds, Radosław Kepa 3 seconds, Debe 3 seconds, Tazo 5, Kushor 3, Maverick 8, and Wasser 3 seconds. And also, it's really sad to see that both of Alpha Tauris right now are closing the grid with a huge time gap between, I would say, Maverick to Myros is like 30 seconds, even though Vassar is still losing almost 12 seconds to Maverick. So, yeah, this one wouldn't helpful be today, but it is what it is. Maybe it should be a lesson for the next upcoming races, just to try to be more patient, maybe sometimes just back off a little bit. And it's not a shame just being overtaken, I will say. And this advice, to be honest, really let me go through my worst races, and then you can go on the main train like the Hamilton Road. Right now, as I'm Bemol Gaucho going straight into the pit, changing the hard compound, probably for the mid compound. Mid compound.
I wonder if we're going to see a little bit of the team game between Ignas and John Meister. They've been paired up for quite a while here, but John Meister is going to be due to come in off of those mediums, but hopefully he's just looking to gain a toe advantage off his teammate. Both have penalties.
I would be surprised if they don't play the team game, honestly, and kind of go through. I would imagine John Meister is going to pit here fairly soon, and then Ignis will pit after, and then we'll see kind of what the strategy is from there for the drivers. At the moment, Ignis chasing down Pujols, 0.2 of a second the gap there. John Meister half a second back. With the cars and the tires and this track specifically, I don't know if the overcut is going to really play a lot, or the undercut's going to come into play a lot either for the drivers as we watch. So it's really going to be just a matter of nailing things and getting things right as they go through. We watch here Ignis up the inside on Pujols here as we run down towards Stowe, and then Ignis able to lock that in and set through. Pujols now diving straight into the pits. He knows his time has come. And Pujols now, since his teammate pitted a lap earlier, going in there in the Alfa Romeo, and we'll see what tires he opts for, as that releases Ignis and John Meister into a bit of clean air there, and they're going to kind of settle in, and we'll see where they come out as the slow trek down the pit lane for Pujols. He's going to dive in. I see medium tires prepped by the pit crew, and it's a good pit stop there for Pujols. In, out, very pretty. Medium tires on. And now we just wait to see where he comes out and how that will affect things. Battle here for P2 is probably going to get very, very stale now, as we have the teammates in P2 and P3 kind of settling down. Graxent's 3.7 seconds back off of that. So Graxent needs to find some time here. And then Buciek and Baron separated by half a second. Debe and Radislav Kepa separated by half a second there in the battle for P7. So these midfield battles should start to heat up just a bit as we go.
Definitely the situation.
Yeah, sorry.
Definitely the situation between both of Mercedes boys and Pujols helps a lot of Jack, because he might get a bigger time gap between them and just earn some time. But I need to agree with what Kenny said previously, that both of them are making a really good job. And I believe there will be maybe some team orders because of the John Meister's medium compound. We will see. Right now they are a little bit closing the gap between them and Jack, but Jack, what is making like 17 laps on the medium compound, is just amazing. I was making this amount of laps on the hard compounds, not on the mediums. So yeah, hats off to Jack right now.
Yeah, definitely. I would say Jack is channeling his inner Esteban Ocon, and definitely making those medium tires go to work for him. But he will still have to make a stop. But he's definitely maintaining that current 5-second advantage. But we'll see how his day ends. Personally, I'm rooting for Jack at the moment.
Yeah, Jack is in a very good spot. Here's the thing. I don't think Jack can carry the mediums to the end, and frankly, if he does, I'm going to have more questions. And I'm going to be very, very confused and concerned if he carries those mediums all the way to the end. I don't know if we're expecting rain in the late stages of the race. I would almost be surprised if we're not expecting rain, because it is the British countryside. It is Silverstone. We all know how that goes. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, is unless there's a reason they're kind of planning it the way they are. I don't know why Jack and... Never mind, there I am right on cue. Jack into the pit lane now. And Wasserschwein in right behind him there. So Jack into the pit lane, coming around, and that is going to open up Ignas and John Meister just a bit for a good position. And now Graxent up into P3 as well. I'm going to see where he lands there. Jack's in out. Soft tires, Syntax. I think if I remember right, you said you wanted to see some soft tires, so we'll see what Jack can do here on the final 7 laps on those soft tires.
I'm proud of you, son.
Syntax is very happy with the pit strategy, as you can tell.
I love when someone make more spicy, you know, and making every single race hard to medium, medium to hard. It's so boring to watch, but fully understandable to drive. And right now, Baran just loses a moment and he's spun out. So basically, he lost, I believe, 3 positions because of the Tazo, Radosław Kepa, and Debe that are fighting so hardly for the P5. And Debe definitely right now feels might be in the fear because of pushing a very good drivers behind him. Tazo and Radosław Kepa with the DRS might be pushing, and Debe's position is unsecured, I would say. Nevertheless, in front of him is Buciek, that he's making a really good time advantage, but he is losing time to Graxent. So podium right now looks extremely interesting, but John Meister with the 13 all lap medium compound, questionable.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's going to be an exciting finish nonetheless. We still have a lot of pit stops coming up, but well, potentially a lot of pit stops coming up. We'll see how well these tires or how well these drivers manage their tires. Excuse me, but yeah, I'm kind of curious, as we see in the comment chain, I wonder if we'll have a Mercedes 1-2, if John Meister can hold on to the back of his teammate there, but Graxent currently in P3. Graxent is closing the gap rather quickly. I think he's picked up about 5 tenths on this last lap. Not even this last lap, he's still yet to finish it. But yeah, still battles all around track. Debe and Radosław Kepa going at it. Tazo right there in the mix as well. But excuse me, is Braun in P8? Braun has had a lot of mistakes, unfortunately, in this race, but he's right there with it. Talk about dealing with adversity well.
Yeah, Baran set up very well here at the moment. He's 5.9 seconds back off of Tazo. You can see, though, a lot of pressure coming to Baran from the form of Maku in the Haas there. And speaking of Tazo, Tazo with a battle there on Radosław Kepa as they run there. Is he going to be able to get the pass done? And now Radosław Kepa to the outside. Outside turns to the inside. And Radosław Kepa is able to hold on to it there as Tazo has to back out a little bit, avoid the sausage curbs. And they run down the Hamilton straight. They're back side by side. Inside there for Tazo. Outside for Radosław Kepa. Again side by side. Again. And now Tazo is finally able to get the pass done as they run up towards Village and the loop. And guys, Jack, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Jack is setting himself up for a run to the end here. Jack able to get past Kushort with no issues at all as they go through Village and the loop. And now as he runs down towards the Wellington straight here, do we think Jack is going to be able to make up enough time in order to find himself up near the front of the grid? Or do we think maybe it's a little too late for him to be able to push and be very competitive up to the front?
Go ahead.
It will be extremely difficult. Yeah, Jack is flying right now, definitely. He proves that with 1 minute 29 0.5 as a fastest lap of the race. But I will definitely go with the thoughts, as you mentioned, Brad, that this is definitely too late. Both of the Alpha Tauris decided to retire, so right now we have only 15 drivers, and Jack is currently on the P10. He will need to overtake 9 drivers. Impossible. Not in the 5 laps.
We've got one coming to the pits right now. John Meister coming in, calling it quits on those, and he's getting a new wing, it looks like, as well. Personally, I think at least half of those hard runners are probably going to pit still. Penalties are still going to come into play as well. But as a driver, I think Jack, if he could just be patient, hey, he's definitely going to threaten for a podium, but he could still very well threaten for a race win. We're seeing some sector yellows in sector 1 at the moment. But we'll see what happens. I'm kind of curious to see what the final penalties come out to be, just because, with some of these gaps being as close as they are, that's going to shuffle things up quite a bit as well. And as a driver, I wonder if that's keeping some of these guys out a little bit longer on the front, your top 6 at the moment. Brad, what do you think?
I still don't. I can't rule out a late race safety car. That's the one thing that I think would be Jack's saving grace, is a late race safety car here. Ignas is in a very, very good position if he can nurse those hards to the end. That's going to be the big thing that has the advantage for Jack, is that all the cars in front of him are on very, very old tires that are near the end of their life here. So Jack definitely in a good position to find himself some more places, but I can't say how many more. But if there's a safety car for any reason, it would kind of set him up here. 3 to go as our race leader Ignas has crossed the line, and Tazo currently pulling out a bit of a gap on Radislav Kepa and putting some pressure on Debe. Debe's in a very, very good position for a good finish as well, though, as we watch the dying stages of this race. And it's anyone's guess, really, and if anyone has a good guess, feel free to tell me, because I don't.
There's one topic that I wanted to mention about how good season have right now Debe and Buciek, right? Because both of them are doing a really, really good job currently. And I would say it's like Debe's peak right now of his form. I've never seen, and I don't remember when I've seen Debe so high with the positions. And after the pre-barrages, I think something's changed with Debe, and I'm so happy to see him back actually fighting for a podium, because last time when I saw that is like on the beginning of the FRL, because of really strong gridline that we have. And also Buciek, a beautiful performance right now. Of course, after the disaster, he fell down probably at the last place, and somehow he managed to came back on the podium right now. But Debe have a moment, and he's almost spans out. Tazo use it very wisely, and right now Debe lost position because of the Tazo.
Definitely getting spicy in these last couple laps here. Just lap 24, just getting started. What do you think? I don't know. I wonder if Ignas is going to be able to hold out. I think so. I don't think he's going to really make a mistake. He's been pretty solid all weekend. Heck of a drive from Graxent all week. We were kind of wondering where his pace was going to come from, but John Meister also just most recently put down the fastest lap, 128.988. So that is an extra point for him. But guys, what do you think? What are your predictions as far as any crazy finishes here?
I don't think so, to be honest. Maybe some small changes as we have right now between, for example, Puchacz and Kushor, but I believe top 5, top 6, maybe go with something safer. Top 4 will definitely change. It will stay like this. Right.
I will say, also a quick comment on Jack. Apparently there's not that big of a pace advantage from the soft to the medium, and just kind of progressing into the harder compounds, because I was expecting Jack to just be shredding through the field, but the Pirelli, the makers down at the Pirelli factory making me eat my words.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch here. as things go through. Radislav Kepa currently putting on a good battle against Dave, so I think that's going to be our closest battle and our biggest battle here as we go through the final 2 laps of this race. Jack, 1.6 seconds back on Maku, a second and a half, so he's not going to be able to find much more, I think, unfortunately. Really interesting race so far. It's been a good race. It's been a good weekend. It's been a good Sunday here with FRL. The sprint race was super exciting. Lap 1 was super exciting, but, ultimately these drivers are racing for points for a championship and for survival, so they've kind of dialed it back a little bit here. Radislav Kepa under pressure by Maku. Overall, guys, it's been a good weekend, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And what is more, we still have one race more today, and I guess both of my co-commentators are so happy because of the place where is that race happening, right?
Oh, I cannot. I'm so happy because it's an afternoon race for me.
I'm ready for Miami.
But boys, let's go back to the business. 2 laps to go. Right now, situation on the track settled down. Right now, Debe is fighting with the Tazo, and Debe is in front, but they are going wheel to wheel. I think you can change the camera, Brad, because of this fight. And and there's a third car, and it's Maku done Maku things, I will say, because I've seen that situation. He just wanted to go as a third one, but there was no space at all.
Yeah, Maku, bad decision there, very close to the end. He loses out of position. Jack gets a position. Pujols is going to get a position. And now look at this, Jack in the mix. Look at this late battle. No. Contact with Radislav Kepa. That knocks Jack down. He had a good run there. Jack's going to slot back into P7 there. And now as we watch the drivers finish up, DRS open. And how is this battle going to end for P5? Things getting very, very spicy here on the final lap. And now as we run through here, Debe, as they run around the loop down towards the Wellington Straight, and we watch here as...
What a move from Jack.
Jack, good move there on Radislav Kepa, able to get up into P6 now, so Jack making me eat my words about not earning another position, has to gain a couple more on the last lap just to keep me on my toes. As we watch here, final time through, Maggots and Beckett's, they kind of slot in. Is anyone going to have anything super competitive to give? And now they come around, Maggots and Beckett's, down through Chapel, now they're down towards the Hangar Straight for the final time. And guys, we got to mention Ignas, the Mercedes Masterclass, winning for the home Grand Prix for Mercedes. Ignas comes across the line. Graxent brings it across P2 for a very, very good result there for his championship contentions. Buciek is going to come across P3. And now we wait on this battle here between Tazo, Debe, Jack, Radislav Kepa. They come across the line. Tazo, Debe is going to move up. Jack moves up all the way to P4 after penalties. Debe with a top 5 finish. Tazo P6. Tazo P7 as Pujols goes up to P6. Radislav Kepa currently sitting P8. Kushor is getting a battle there with John Meister out of the final quarter. And there is contact there. Kushor comes across, but he is going to lose lots of positions there. Kushor down to P12. Maku's into the wall as well. P9. John Meister 10th. Bimolino Gaucho 11th. Kushor, Marios, Franek, and Baran will be our final drivers to cross the line. And guys, at the end of the day, Mercedes winning at their home Grand Prix here in Silverstone. Ignis brings it across to win the race.
Great drive.
What a race that was.
That was fun.
Catch my breath. Whew. Yeah.
Yeah. There's podium celebrations get underway here, and you can see Ignis hitting the podium along with Graxent and who is P3 because I've already blanked on it.
I did too. I'm waiting for the screen to load.
Okay, glad I'm not the only one. Anyways. Yeah, that was a good Silverstone overall. Few relaxed moments, plenty of good overtaking opportunities and overtakes made. Jack with the interesting tire strategy there, finding himself up into P4. And guys, that was a good sprint weekend.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Graxent, what do you think?
Graxent?
Oh, not Graxent. Sorry. Dirt. I was staring at his time. Sorry. But yeah. Just to finish all, I think Jack's my driver of the day personally. I had a questionable tire finish at the end, but I think kudos to him finishing. I think where he started.
For me, definitely Buciek. From last almost to first. Maybe not first, but with a really good podium. He definitely deserves it.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you stuck around this long, it's time for the big reveal of your Sunday afternoon. After 8 seasons of action known as Foxxxes Racing League, we will be rebranding to start off a new generation of F123, start off a new generation here of Foxxxes Racing League, and just overall give the league a fresh run. After this season, you will see all social media rebranded. You will see everything from top to bottom rebranded into pole position racing. It's still going to be all the things you know and love here with FRL. You're still going to have myself, Syntex Kenny, and you're still going to have all the same drivers that you know and love every Sunday afternoon and evening, giving you the exciting racing on track that you're used to. But if you're interested in growth, when you're interested in moving the league forward and getting the best out of what you have, sometimes change is needed, and sometimes that change can be right in front of you. We have the league admin, Debe, the gentleman who signs my paychecks, the gentleman we talk about every Sunday in the Papaya Orange McLaren. Debe's joining us here with kind of talk a bit more about the decision to rebrand into pole position racing and give a bit more info about the decision.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks Graxent
Oh.
for the sub gifts.
Wow,
That's
Graxent.
really amazing from you again. But yeah, coming to details about the rebrand, we decided to move forward. We were thinking about it for like few months or even more. Yeah, and that's the time when we said let's do it. So as soon as the new game launch on, we will swap the name to Pole Position Racing. That's a huge thank you to Tazo for thinking about this name, because it's not easy, as many of you can know from creating your character in the games. Yeah, so what will change? There will be probably rewards after the season for definitely for the champion, but maybe for top 3, we will see about it. There will be a PayPal where you can donate and support the league to develop. There should be also one moment, because Tazo interrupt me. Yeah, so Tazo said to me that top 3 will be rewarded. Because we will also start some partnerships with some sites and sim racing companies. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, we will probably come back to 2 splits and try to find as many drivers as we can to develop the league. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, just ask on chat or maybe commentators.
We just want to grow up and be a better version of ourselves that we are right now. And I'm so hyped right now. And I believe you finished Deborah right now, because my mouth just want to get close after the trailer that we've seen. And I actually had like goosebumps.
Yeah, so one more thing I just remind myself. Yeah, once again, big thanks to Tazo for this trailer, and of course we shouldn't forget about Chris, who created the graphics. He makes amazing job, yeah, and I really appreciate all of the help, also from you commentators. Yeah, it won't be this without the community we have here. So thanks to everyone, to commentators, to admins, to Greece as graphic, to all drivers. Yeah, once again, big thank you.
I've been with the league since about, what was it, round 2, season 3 at Monaco. And I will say, I've always loved the league. I've always supported it. And this is a very exciting time for FRL. Very thankful to be a part of this chance. Very excited to see what's coming in the future. And of course, if you want to be on the know and be on the front, of course, join Discord. We will run the rest of this season under the FRL branding, but during the off season here, you will see everything rebrand. You'll see names change, tags change, and we'll keep you up to date on all of that as it goes through. Syntax, Kenny, do you all have any questions for Debe, or do you see anything kind of in Discord or Twitch chat to ask Debe about?
Maybe not question, but I just wanted to say big thank you because I don't think that I done this before, because I'm here almost since the beginning. So big thanks for the whole administration, for the whole community, that they gave us a huge opportunity to, I would say, develop ourselves as a commentators, being a part of such a great community, great Discord, great racing drivers, and it's just like, for me, very emotional that it was actually almost a 100 race for me in this league. So big thank you.
Yeah, one more thing. I just sent a link to the PayPal. There will be also a possibility later to become a subscriber, like make a monthly support to league. So if anybody wants to support the league, that's really appreciated. Yeah, and as Santek said, it's 100 race today, so yeah, it's mega feeling to have all of you here. But maybe don't delay anymore. Let's invite the podium drivers to interviews. Big congratulations to everyone from podium. Yeah, and that's all from me. That's okay. Oh my god.
All right, Syntax. Now for the main event, the fun, something you absolutely love doing. Let's jump on these interviews here with our drivers.
Okay, if you are able, please just ping once again Graxent, because we don't have him. And maybe let's start from the fourth place. Let's go with no one else as a Jackie. Welcome, Jack. How are you doing,
Hello.
mate?
I'm good, you?
Thank you so much, Jack. First of all, big congrats, because it was a really good race. After all, you have some problems, really late decision for going for a pit strategy. And I even said that on the stream, on the race, that I'm being proud because of you, because no one else just picked softs, and you truly deserve that fastest lap, because you were flying, man.
Thank you. I think I made the wrong call though. I decided to stay out on the safety car and I never should have.
Yeah.
Because it's such a long pit lane. You know, I couldn't just pit straight away after the safety car restarts to try to build a gap.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Please. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying I had to carry those mediums onto like lap 18 and they were like 80% tire wear.
Mhm.
It was awful.
Yeah, but how do you feel? It was, as always, your home race, and you truly proves that you're feeling really good on this track. Maybe different strategy with the wheels, and maybe we will see you on the podium. But nevertheless, you made a really amazing job, and
Thank you.
I don't know that I mentioned that, but previous seasons wasn't that good as we've seen you on the beginning when we were racing even together. For example, that beautiful fight on the spa
Oh yeah.
when we were going 1-2. Yeah, you had some harder moments, I will say, in your career, but right now looks like you're getting back on the main court, I will say, and we can see you more times on closer to the podium. What is the plan for the whole season right now?
Well, right now I actually feel stronger than I've ever felt on this game. I think that break I took was necessary. Obviously, it took me a few weeks to get back into it, like the tryout races. I was so rusty, kept spinning, and then Australia, it was the same. I was still rusty, but now I think I really got the pace now to fight for the championship, fight for wins every race. Yeah, because I do believe I can actually win this championship.
Yeah, I will cross my fingers just to make sure that you'll do what is the best for you. And I'm really glad that we can see you back on the track with a really good pace. So that's all from me.
Thank you.
Maybe something from Bradley or Kenny.
Heck of a drive, Jack. Ever since preseason, you've had a steady form improvement throughout the whole, each race weekend. So keep it up.
Thank
You're
you.
gonna be at the top step eventually in the near future.
Yeah, even last race was a good race for me as well. I got a win last race, so I do believe I am at the peak of my performance right now.
Just never let up and just keep sharpening that axe. And we'll see you back next round, hopefully, for more of the same.
Thank you.
Yeah, mega race is always, Jack. Very impressive, and it's always fun to watch you on track.
Thanks. I try my best.
Okay, thank you so much, Jack. Hope to we'll see next week on the maybe interviews, but definitely on the track.
All right. I'll see you next week, hopefully.
Thank you,
All right.
Jack.
Ta-ra.
And right now, we have someone else that will come to the interview. No one else as called Buciek. Welcome, Buciek.
Good morning.
Good morning for someone on the world, definitely, but not for us in Poland or in Europe. Buciek, your race was pretty messy, I would say. Beginning was just hard to watch when you were chasing everyone from almost end of the grid, but somehow you managed to hold your podium. How do you feel? What was the plan for the race?
At first, I want to say that it's good back to be at podium. And yeah, after the sprint that I got ruined because I got spun at T1 and I was starting from P19. I got a really nice start and I got like 9 positions at lap 1. After this thing, I was trying my best. I had a pace on medium tires. I got 2 overtakes. And then safety car disappeared, and there is a huge thing that Kashti had told me to pit for hards. I wasn't expecting it to be this huge, but yeah, I pitted for hards, and he told me that I am virtual P2 because those guys in front of me doesn't pit. So I was trying to have a good pace, but yeah, there was a Graxent chasing me, and he was too fast. So I tried my best. Luckily, Baran had pace too, but he spawned. So I got like 3 seconds. I was like 3 seconds in front of Debe all the time and Tazo, and yeah, that's it.
But trust me, it was really worth to watch because you done a really, really good job. And so you mentioned that Casti told you to go for the hard compound. So Casti was your engineer today because he retired after the second lap.
Yeah, but not for that long time because he had internet problems. So I think for like 10 laps he was my engineer, and then he disappeared, and I was
Okay.
solo.
Okay, I understand. So, last question from me. What is the plan for the next upcoming race?
Yeah, Belgium. Belgium is not the best track for me because from 4 races I did, I had 3 DNFs because Aurora is killing me. So Belgium, I try to get points, but I think I will be trying my best at Monaco to keep my P1 another year in a row season.
Yeah, I believe this might be a difficult task. No, not gonna lie, because right now we have a really strong grid. Okay, thank you so much, Buciek, for joining us to interview, and good luck next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. And right now, no one else. Second time in a row in the week to week. Second place, Graxent. Welcome, Graxent.
Hello.
How do you feel after today's podium? Because you've done a really good job. Of course, it wouldn't be a really good race without any problems, as you have every single time, right? So someone will push you off, you will spin. But this is incredibly a really good job. How you manage to, from example, if someone spin you out, you're going back from P19, P18, come back
Yep.
to podium. So how did you done that today?
I was just incredible pace. In only lap 1, turn 1, I got taken out by Puharts with no space. And I spin direct 360 and go further. And then with Cops and Mega Baggage, then I could also take out by McLaren because he spun and I touched him. So I need to pit for the hard tire by the right wing. And then I just keep going, keep believing that I could reach good points. And
So, because of the Zandvoort last week, you DNF'd, right? I believe this week was really important for you because you
Yeah.
also want to fight for the championship. We know ourselves like a long time, so I can say that. I don't remember when I see you so high in the standings. So this is a really huge progress, Graxen, comparing to the previous season. And big bravo for you for that. I see that you really take yourself all together. I believe there was a big training moment because you were sitting so late and training in the F1.
Yeah, always. Yeah, I need to understand this game. This game is so difficult compared to the other games, and it's just so. Also in this race, I had a couple of moments, and it's just difficult.
Yeah.
Always difficult.
But then can you tell us maybe some secret about what do you plan for the next race? It's Belgium, right? A very difficult track, and I remember many situations that we have on this track. For example, a collision between you and JJ when me and Jack was P1 P2.
Yeah, this situation. Yeah, I remember also. Yeah.
There was a many situation like this.
I hope
What is your plan?
I hope in Belgium I get a win. I mean, 2 times P2. It's now time for getting the win. I mean, I was so close this race, 1.4 seconds. I was pushing so hard with 65 tire wear, and it was just not enough. A little bit. But next race, I'm just aiming for P1. That's my only goal now.
Yeah, and the opponents are really good also. So fighting for that P1 might be difficult. And we cannot forget that this Belgium in the F1 22. So it isn't as it was before, right? Every single curb can actually give you a spin, and you can finish race very easily and very early. So I believe pushing on the Spa will be really difficult, but maybe it will be worth. We will
I mean,
see.
I got 2 times P17 and 2 times P2, so I mean, I hope next
Yes.
race is gonna be also like that, but not like that P17, but a win. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah. So it's the time to change that. Okay. Other commentators maybe have some questions.
Heck of a weekend, like always. It's gonna be curious, or it's gonna be interesting to see how you and your fellow mates up in the top, really that top 5. I think is gonna be quite a challenge for you guys, but impressive work once again.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Good job as always, Graxent. Keep pushing. You're third in the standings provisionally, so you're in a really good position for looking at a good championship battle this season.
Yep, just keep performing and just keeping getting myself better, and then it will come, I hope.
Okay, Graxent, thank you so much for this week interview. Maybe we will see you again in the next week. We will see.
Yes.
But for today, thank you so much, Grax.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, and last but not least, no, the guy that wasn't before on the interview. I'd probably never seen his voice. Ignas, welcome. Oh, there's some microphone issues.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, right now, yeah. Welcome, Ignas.
Hello.
How do you feel after the big win? Because you were absolutely smashing in the previous season, and right now in Austria, Australia, no points. Netherlands P3, and right now a big win. So how do you feel about that?
I feel very nice. I didn't expect to win a race here. I expected to finish in top 5 at least. I'm not usually as strong in here. So yeah, I didn't expect a win.
How did you find this space? Because I remember when even I was racing, you like jump out of nowhere totally, and you just found amazing pace, bro. Like I was really amazed about this.
I practice a lot and like the break. I think I became a little bit more clear driver. I stopped making stupid mistakes. I turned the racing line on. I think it made a big improvement in my pace. And yes, that's how it went.
Very nice. And also, one more thing that we've seen today, a really, really amazing job, both of you as a Mercedes team today you were doing. It was a short time that it looks like you and John Meister could possibly make a P1, P2 on the podium, but some things happened. Can you explain us what happened?
So John Meister was on the medium tires. I think he pitted almost at the same time than I did, and his tires were just too old to finish the race. Like I on myself, I had 79% on my hard tires, and after 80% the tires just explode. So John Meister had, I think, 75% on lap 20 or lap 21, so he didn't have any chance of finishing the race. So
Yeah.
he
This-
tried, then he
This could
pushed
be
us.
extremely difficult, right?
There was no chance.
Yeah. Okay. What about Belgium upcoming? Do you plan to stand on the podium once again? And do you want to fight for that championship? Because Jack, Graxent, and Mateusz looks really strong right now. Nevertheless, there's a Tazo and Mako just behind them.
Actually, I don't remember last time when I was strong in Belgium. I think I could barely finish in top 10. I've never finished in the podium here. Well, now when I'm strong, I think, yeah, I'm thinking about the podium. But I just have to not get track limits, not get any penalties, and yeah, obviously do no spins.
Yeah. It's very easy to do that on Belgium, right?
Yeah, it's very easy, of course. And of course, not to fight too much while racing, not to get any damage, and don't, make a whole race by pitting at the not right time go wrong.
Okay. Bradley, do you want to say something?
I don't really have anything. Ignis is leading the point standings right now, though, which is really impressive to see. So, hopeful for a good season, Ignis, and good luck to you as we continue to go through these races.
Yeah, thank you. Well, good luck while commentating.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so bye.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Ignas. Goodbye.
Yeah, have a nice weekend. Nice week.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, that seems like a good place to round off this round 3 here of our 11-round season 8. Of course, big announcements, PPR, pole position racing coming up after this season. So I guess we can count down the time that we can say FRL.
Still many races in front of us, right? But it will be definitely hard to change that pronunciation, right? When we are always saying FRL, impossible is nothing. There's happening everything. So yeah, I think we'll need to find some new phrases, Bradley, for the PPR.
We will definitely find some phrases. I'll leave that to you and Kenny to find the good phrases. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, check out the socials if you're interested in joining FRL for the remainder of Season 8 and into the future. Join the Discord. Give us a follow here on Twitch. Of course, there's the PayPal link to donate now. And as always, on behalf of Kenny, on behalf of Syntax, my name is Brad. And we will see you in 7 days' time for the Belgium Grand Prix.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And it looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers.